Hey, what's up, guys? Millermassacre 19 here. Now, I know on my channel I usually say why I hate games, but for this video I'm going to tell you my top 10 favorite games in the 2010s. I'm including 2020 in that. I'm going to pick one game per year, so here's my list. My pick for 2010 is going to be Red Dead Redemption. Now, I know the second game is better, but when I was a kid, this game was ahead of its time. There weren't really any open world Western cowboy games. This was the first for me, and on top of it, it was made by Rockstar. Now, I know it's a simple story. The government keeps John's family away from him and makes him chase down and kill his former gang members to get his family back. Not going to spoil the ending. The story might be simple, but it was definitely my favorite game from 2010. There was so much put into it. My pick for 2011 is Fight Night Champion. It's one of the best boxing games I ever played. They have a roster of over 50 boxers, and there are 8 weight classes, which is crazy. They have Legacy Mode where you rack up wins and try to become champion to build your legacy by winning fights. They also have the Story Mode, which is okay too, but you can tell it wasn't the main focus of the game, but it was content and it was free. So, in my opinion, it was one of the best games of 2011. My pick for 2012 is Black Ops 2. This game was made back when Call of Duty was putting out great games. The campaign is good, not as good as Black Ops 1, but still good. In the campaign, Menendez hacks military weapons and equipment and tries to take over the world. Harper and Mason's son David try to stop Menendez before he takes over the world, so it's interesting enough and keeps you playing. The multiplayer is fun too. It has pretty good maps and guns, but my favorite thing about the game is zombies. Now, the first couple maps suck, Transit, Die Rise, and Buried, but once you buy Mob of the Dead and Origins, you will love the Zombies mode. They're still in 2021 the best maps, in my opinion. Those are the reasons why I think one of the best games of 2012 is Black Ops 2. My pick for 2013 is Dead Rising 3. This game is a really good Dead Rising game because the other two games let you go wherever you want, but they don't have a big map. Dead Rising 3 is also a good game, but it has a much bigger map than the other two, so it's basically a better version of the other two games. It's also similar to the second game with crafting and combat. The crafting is also better because instead of going to the workbench to craft, you could do it wherever you want in 3. The story is similar too between 2 and 3. In 2, you try to find out the truth and clear your name before the military firebombs you. In the third game, you try to escape the city before the military firebombs you. So their stories are very similar. In 3, it's more simple, but I think it does it better than 2. And you can also do the story with a friend in the co-op mode, which is always fun with games like that. Those are the reasons why Dead Rising 3 is my pick for 2013, because it is basically an improved version of the other two Dead Rising games. My pick for 2014 is WWE 2K15. It's not a great game, but in my opinion, there weren't that many good games that came out in 2014, so I picked WWE 2K15. I don't think the gameplay is perfect, but it's decent. The rosters are decent, but where the game shines is the showcase mode. I'm a fan of Triple H versus Shawn Michaels, and the showcase mode has a lot of that. It recreates their matches with objectives that you have to do to unlock content in the game. It also has a showcase mode for CM Punk, who I am also a fan of. So I picked this game for 2014 because there wasn't that many good games that came out that year, and the showcase modes were alright, and were the best part of the game in my opinion. My pick for 2015 is Mortal Kombat X. The roster has mostly everybody you want: Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Jax, Sonya, Raiden, and many more. The story isn't great, but the gameplay makes up for that. It's very fast-paced, rush-down type gameplay, which is fun to me. And at this time, everybody was waiting since 2011 for another Mortal Kombat game, and it was worth the wait. The graphics are improved, the fighting isn't as good as 9, but it's still good. That's why MKX is my 2015 pick. My pick for 2016 is Dead by Daylight. I like the game because they did something that wasn't out at that time too much on consoles: 1v4 killer versus survivors games. I thought it was really fun at the time to play with your friends, because who doesn't want to play a game where you and your friends try to survive against a killer? It's fun with friends, but by yourself, with randoms, it isn't too fun in my opinion. I was playing the game until Friday the 13th the game came out, and it definitely kept me entertained until that came out. There are many survivors and killers to pick from. The objective is to repair generators and escape through the escape doors. The objective sometimes gets boring, but the leveling up killers and survivors keeps you playing. That's why Dead by Daylight is my 2016 pick. My pick for 2017 is Friday the 13th, the game. I love Friday the 13th. It has single player challenges where you play through scenarios similar to the movies as Jason and you try to get all the objective kills to unlock emotes and CP. It has Virtual Cabin, which is a cabin you can complete and walk around in, and it has a lot of Easter eggs from the movies, which I think is cool to have in the game. And you can play the main mode where you pick a counselor and try to escape Jason, either by car, boat, phone, or killing Jason. There's many more escape options and things to do in the game than there is in DBD, in my opinion. That's why I stopped playing DBD and played F13 instead. That's why I picked F13 for 2017. My pick for 2018 is Red Dead Redemption 2. This game has a great story mode. It shows what the Vanderlyn gang was like and their downfall. Instead of playing as John, you play as Arthur. John is a big part of the game too, but you don't play as him until the end. It shows how Arthur is so loyal to the gang, but throughout the game, the gang gets worse and worse, and by the end, Arthur gets TB and just wants to help John and his family escape with the time he has left. It's a great game, and there are more guns than the first one. The horse is more realistic. You have to feed your horse and keep it clean to keep it healthy. It makes the game way more fun. Those were the reasons why I picked Red Dead Redemption 2 for the best game of 2018. My pick for 2019 is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's a game where you explore the island of Aura, and you try to figure out why Walker and your other allies become traitors. The story is okay, but I don't play for the story with this game. I play for the gameplay. You kill enemies, raid their bases, and get equipment like guns and clothing that have different damage level and armor levels that help you fight higher level enemies. It's very addicting. Oh yeah, and it's open world, and it's co-op. That's why it's my 2019 pick. My pick for 2020 is the Resident Evil 3 Remake. Like most Resident Evil games, it's a survival horror game where you have to find ammo, herbs to heal yourself, and first aid spray to help keep you alive. And you have to solve puzzles to progress through levels. Its gameplay is almost the same as the other Resident Evils, so you know it's going to be a good game. The only complaint I have is the game's a little bit too short in my opinion. If it was longer, it would be as good as the RE2 remake. The story is about trying to survive the zombie apocalypse and trying not to get killed by Nemesis. It's not that complicated of a story. It's fun to play through like most Resident Evil games are. That's why I picked Resident Evil 3 Remake for 2020. Alright guys, so that was my list for the 2010s for the best games in my opinion. So you don't gotta agree with it, but yeah, I figured I'd try something new because usually I do like videos on why I hate games, but this time I figured I'd do videos on the games I like. So hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Millermassacre 19, guys. Shake and bake.